I'm not really one for story-based games. I mash past dialogue like I'm playing Cookie Clicker and fall asleep at cutscenes. But for some reason this particular story-driven game caught my eye. What Remains of Edith Finch. I think what got me interested was the general look of the game. The graphics were beautiful yet disorganized, and the variety of scenery made me slap that thing into my wishlist as soon as the trailer ended. I didn't really know much of what the game was like, but once it went on sale a few months later I bought it, and went in almost completely blind. What Remains of Edith Finch is like an interactive book. The whole game is narrated over by Edith herself as she moves around her old house, slowly uncovering the specifics of how each Finch family member lived, and more importantly, how they died. You see, the Finch family has this curse. Somehow, some way, they all die. Tragically young. You wander around this rickety house, filled with clutter and signs that there was once a vibrant family living there. Edith always has some melancholy remark to make about each spot of the house.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
The scenery used in Edith Finch is very nostalgic. The building honestly reminds me of my late grandparents' place. I think all old people houses sort of look the same, with the claustrophobic walls, brown interior, and creepy basement. It all makes the game feel very familiar and helps you project yourself onto the protagonist. Edith comes to her old house with a list of all her dead family members, learns about the details behind their death, and moves on. The game immerses you by making you play as every family member, acting out their moment of death. It's a very grim feeling to know that with every room, in order to continue the story, you have to basically kill yourself as each Finch. Molly, the 10-year-old girl, who after being sent to bed with no dinner eats a poisonous berry and dies. Calvin, the 11-year-old kid who on a windy day was swept off a cliff and fell to his death. Barbara, who died at 16 after being murdered by her boyfriend, the only trace left of her being a severed ear. It's harrowing playing through all these deaths, but makes for an excellent storytelling device, getting you actively involved with the characters so their stories impact you more. I didn't expect much from What Remains of Edith Finch, but it blew me away. It's a very small game, about 2 hours long, short enough to leave you wanting more, but not long enough to overstay its welcome. There are a lot of plot points and spoilers I can tell you about, but I would much prefer if you played it through knowing as little as possible. Bye!